Black folks saved America.
Come on now.
With your vote.
AC Green Show.
And then when
But we've always saved America with our vote.
But when they attacked the Capitol, that brother saved all of them representatives from getting slaughtered. So we are in serious times. But
Now, what brother was that? Now, elaborate on that.
You know the Capitol Guard. When they,
Eugene Goodman.
Goodman now look how quick he was thinking. He redirected them. He redirected the mob from hanging Pence, from hanging Pelosi, and they showed would have grabbed that Maxine Waters and that girl Cortez in New York. He saved them. So all we had to do is continue to be.
You didn't know that. A black man did that.
Yeah, the black man. That's why, King them understood the power of citizenship. I asked Reverend Bevel, I said, what did you all do? He said, we just fused our Bible with the Constitution. So in America, if you really want to get what you want, you got to put some legislation. It's important that we be engaged with these elected officials, that we be pushing public policy.
Now, stay right there. So public policy is what I want to deal with. And one of the things Dr. Martin Luther King was big on, because there is no noted, and maybe you have some more information, but there is no noted evidence that Dr. King was either Democrat or Republican. I know his dad was Republican, right? But Dr. King was more of a policy person than a party person.
Correct.
He wanted to see what the policy was in any party. And I'm the same way in that it doesn't matter how bad or good you feel about a politician. What policies are they enacting and putting forth? Because that's going to run and rule your life.
Correct, and that's why young folks and the young folks in this room, because I think I'm old enough to be everybody's daddy except yours.
Okay.
So that's why the young,
I'll take that.
The young citizens,
Pops.
That's why. Yeah, I'm older than him too. See, you want to be this handsome when you get 66.
Come on, Diane.
Yeah. So I'm just being facetious, but y'all feel me off. Y'all feel me off.
Go ahead, Doc. Don't lose your way.
You all got to understand the power of your citizenship. You understand the power of your citizenship was what moves the needle. The elected official works for you. You don't work for them.
That's right.
That's right.
And so we've got to be real clear as we chart the future in terms of the type of policies that we want. You vote your interests. King dealt with what was the interest of his community.
So Coakley was saying also in the video, I didn't play that part. Coakley was also saying in the video that when it comes to black politicians, over the last 20 or 30 years, essentially what they're doing is they're doing the work of the state, and that they're not doing the work of the movement, but of the state. What Dr. King wanted, and what he challenged after Kennedy, that was Johnson. He challenged Johnson, to pass the Civil Rights Act. He challenged them to do that. I mean, he didn't care if he was a Republican or Democrat. He didn't, like the Congressional Black Caucus said, well, we're not going to talk to Trump. Well, see, and I don't think Dr. King would have done. As a matter of fact, Dr. King didn't do that, right? Dr. King was going to negotiate with you on behalf of his people, because what Dr. King knew is that whoever creates the policy, we're going to be governed under it, and we want our liberation. See, I don't think Dr. King saw racism as a thing that he was going to be obstructed by. He said, I'm going to overcome this thing because I have to overcome it. And he didn't see any of them, Democrat or Republican, as non-racist.
But he understood institutional violence. Don't you let these people twist you up with institutional racism. That's a game.
It's a game.
It's violence. America was built on violence.
It was built on violence, yes.
This paradigm is no longer good. It's unnecessary now. And so you all changed the paradigm shift by way of policy. You're precisely right. King was focused on one thing. How do you change the law? They can make a good law for you, a bad law. As it relates to black elected officials, when election time comes around, they have failed us, the majority of us in this pandemic. They have got to be put out of office, many of them. Now, State Representative LaShawn Ford, he's you all's aide. He not only does he do his job, he goes beyond the call of duty. Camille Lilly, State Representative Camille Lilly, just got legislation passed to put civics back in the school. I'm going to send that to you. That's very important because you children need to understand what the Constitution is, what the preamble. You need to not only understand American history, but you need to understand world history.
And let me say this while you're on LaShawn Ford. Let me, because I've been I had Tony Pareca on the show, who you all know is he was one of the Cook County commissioners, and he talked about because he deposed Michael Madigan. And I have been very critical and very hard on our black elected officials because of the legislation that they did not really pass in favor of us when it came to the marijuana, the dispensaries, and all those things. But you gotta give it to them when they're not doing their thing. But when they are doing their thing, you have to give it to them. And let me just say, last week I was very proud of the black state legislators when they went all in one. And they pushed things, including moving Madigan out and a black man in as the Speaker of the House of Illinois. And that's a big doggone deal. However you look at it, that is a big, big deal.